Alright, it's time. In this video, I will be summarizing, explaining, and basically recapping everything that happened in the 1.1 main story, Thaw of Eons, which is Act 7 of Chapter 1, so this serves as a follow-up video from my last video explaining the entire story of Wuthering Waves so far. And I'm gonna keep the intro short, let's get straight into it. Subscribe. We start this act meeting back up with Yang Yang and Chixcia at Panhwa's restaurant. Chixcia says that she heard about the little one and asks where they are, and then Lil Bro just pops out. We talk about what happened earlier in the battle against the Threnodian. As the Threnodian ran, the little one blocked and consumed the overflow of Threnodian power that was released after defeating the Dreamless. And after that, we went to the academy to get a checkup with Baiji. And just as Baiji pointed out in our first examination in Act 1, we had a dimensional space and creature inside of our body, and they happen to share very similar frequencies with Tacit Discord's reverberation. So basically it's an echo, but instead of being stored in a terminal, it's stored in our body. So it is our own personal echo that we captured and absorbed at some point in our past, and without us it can't even manifest because we are both connected. We are both separate individuals, but our energies and vitals affect each other, so we can feel each other's emotions and pain, and if they get injured we also feel the pain, and if the little one absorbs energy we also can use that energy. It's symbiotic. The way they found this out was from the Threnodian energy we stored after the fight against the Dreamless. So even though Lil Bro was the one who absorbed it, we can still use that energy to get stronger. It is called a convergent codependency. So if an enemy were to target the little one, they could just go back into our body through our tacit mark for safety. And if we ever need help, they can just come outside of our body and help us.
Don't look down on me. You'll regret it when you learn what I'm capable of. That poker-faced researcher was absolutely shocked when she examined me. Said I'm not just any echo. I'm a super-duper cool one. Rarest of them all.
Baiji also mentioned that there are other intelligent echoes similar to this little one that can act on their own in different countries and are involved in every aspect of human life with unique abilities beyond our imagination. But it's still very rare in Jinzhou to find one, so Baiji speculates that it may be one of those foreign echoes. And then we ask if the little one knows when we absorbed it because we lost our memories, but the little one says that he doesn't remember anything that happened before he first manifested. He just slept in us the whole time, so nah, he doesn't know either. Lil Bro explains that our body has sound isolation, so once they dive in they can't hear anything like a fight and stuff because they sleep, and when they sleep they don't know when they'll wake up again, and when they do wake up they get tired and hungry fast, so they just end up falling asleep again because they aren't eating enough. Regular echoes are usually powered by a terminal, but Bro is different, so he needs to eat, and it also doesn't seem to have a denomination, which is a name for echoes. And after finding it out, Lil Bro says it isn't fair that he doesn't have a name, and he doesn't like being called the little one. So after some thought, we finally decide a name.
Abby. Abra. Abraxas? Abby. I like the sound of that. That's my name. My name is Abby. You will not call me the little one again. Sure, we won't. Got it.
We also wonder where Abby is from, so to find out where, we need to see its abilities, and we can compare what Abby does to the other echoes that are recorded to find out where it may be from. And considering Abby was able to help us defeat the Dreamless, we wanted to see the power that Abby used again. Then Abby tries to replicate what he did, but he's a fraud. He's struggling to even do anything at all. It's like Goku screaming to transform into Super Saiyan and he just doesn't turn into Super Saiyan. like bro, this nigga went from Prime Shaq to Celtic Shaq. Like, bro. But don't get it fucked up. Abby still had that clutch performance. So we speculate that Abby's power can only activate automatically under certain circumstances, and Abby can't control their abilities just yet.
Hey, stop looking down on me. Like I said, it was just a little slip. Really, I think about it, I just stood there and did nothing and ended up beating a Threnodian. Imagine what I could do if I actually tried. Hey, Rover. Get behind me next time we run into anything, okay? I'll keep you safe. Promise. You're so real for that, Abby.
You're so real for that, Abby. Face ass. What? Anyways, moving on, Yap Yap tells us to maybe ask Sentinel Jue and Jinhsi for guidance to figure out more about our relationship with Abby. So we plan to ask Jinhsi about it when she comes back. But then 7 days pass and we get a weird dream. In this dream, we came to a mountain shaped like a dragon with Sentinel Jue, and there were a bunch of TDs attacking, but Jue saved the day by making the time different.
Yeah. The time in the mountains seemed to have slowed down from the outside, away from the tacit discords. The Sentinel must have created a barrier by manipulating the flow of time, keeping those monsters out. It was a safe haven from all the disturbances caused by the tacit discords, where people lived peacefully. Also, in my dream, I wasn't affected by the slowed time and could freely move in and out of the barrier.
And the rover recalls that the place was called Mount Firmament, and some old guys overhear our conversation and notice Abby is an echo that can talk and mention a place called Rhinus. Yeah, you get the gist. Apparently, there are echoes there known to be next level, so maybe that is the place that Baiji was referring to earlier. Then they explain.
Legends say Mount Firmament is where the first people of Jinzhou live. It looks like a giant statue of our Sentinel Jue. I've never actually heard of anyone going to that place. They say those who try either get lost in the sea mist or never come back. If you're curious, just head southeast. Mount Firmament is on the east side of Whining Ix's Mire, and you can see it from a distance.
Then Abby mentions that for the past few days, they notice a unique scent from the southeast. A weird, strong energy pulsing through the air, and Rover thinks that it may be the place that they saw in their dream. It mentions that they feel an unknown force guiding them to go there and find something. And the Rover also hasn't heard anything from City Hall about Jinhsi coming back yet. So we go over to City Hall to check up on what's happening, and we meet with Sanhua. She explains that Jinhsi is currently at Mount Firmament searching for Sentinel Jue, and they haven't heard from her in days. And the last time they spoke, she seemed to be in a weakened state. He explained that we need to meet with the Sentinel as well, and we are worried about Jinhsi, so we want to help. And Sanhua explains that the landscape around Mount Firmament is complex, so we need a wayfinder to accompany us so we can navigate the area safely. She mentions a wayfinder lady is likely at Ferry Terminal in Waning Axe's Mire, and we'll reach out to her and let her know that we need her. And then we head over to meet with the wayfinder, who happens to be Changli. Oh my god.
I am Changli, your wayfinder.
Then she gives us some info about Mount Firmament. Spending one full day in Mount Firmament takes off 10 days of your lifespan, reflecting the amount of time that passed outside of Mount Firmament. The time patterns of the mountain are tied to Sentinel Jue's temporal mandate, so time changes and flows as it wills. And if the Fraxidus really imprisoned Jue, causing it to lose control of its powers, its temporal mandate is being disrupted, making the mountain a dead end with no way out. She explains that she isn't concerned about her lifespan. If the rover wants to go, she will be our wayfinder. And she is also worried about Jinhsi because she's been on the mountain for so long. And before she even left, scales started to appear on her body and her resonance ability was weakening, which means that the Sentinel is weak as well because of their connection. So she wants to take us there because we may be the key to solving this situation. She explains that she told Sanhua to invite us to her being our wayfinder because she knows that we are a top priority to the Fraxidus and the overseers tried to get us to join them. So she speculated that this means we may be able to disrupt their plans, especially at Mount Firmament, and that's why they tried so hard to get us on their side. And then she explains,
Records at the Grand Library tell a tale of someone who dared to enter Mount Firmament after the Sentinel's descent, and they emerged unscathed, as if time had no hold on them. They were also said to have stood alongside the Sentinel. And here before me stands someone who bears an uncanny resemblance to that very individual. If not you, who else could it be? It took me some effort to finally reach this conclusion.
and then we set off for Mount Firmament on a ferry. And then we make it to the base of the mountain, but we won't be able to enter the temporal barrier until we cross the luminous shore. And on our way, we come across a broken bridge and a Chronos order pops up, which is a creation from the court of Savante, and it mimics the Sentinel's temporal mandate, which is basically just controlling time. It can reverse small scale events and restore small scale things. Changli says that her master once told her about the court and their quest to unravel the mysteries of Mount Firmament to understand this strange manage time flow, and they ended up inventing things like the Chronos Order. But Changli wonders why the invention hasn't spread past Mount Firmament. Considering this Chronos Order was built outside of the temporal barrier, its creator most likely paid the price for leaving already. But even if they died, there are many other court members that should be able to replicate this invention. She questions how such an advanced technology became lost, and maybe the device stops working past Mount Firmament. So we use the device to fix the bridge and go deeper into Mount Firmament, and we notice some Fraxidus traps and fight some Fraxidus. And then we run into a photon barrier, which is another invention from the Court of Savant. We take down the barrier and enter a cave where we see and enter the temporal barrier. And after entering, we notice some animals are frozen in time. And Changli explains that this is caused by the temporal disruption. Time on Mount Firmament used to just flow slower than the outside world, and visitors would be fine as long as they remained in the barrier. But now the flow of time is out of control and chaotic, and some areas are frozen in time while others speed up and slow down unpredictably, which is bad because even regularly, if someone left the barrier, they could turn to dust considering how much time they spent here. But with the disruption, these creatures are just stuck in time with their bodies being ravaged, leaving them suffering, which confirms that the Fraxidus captured Jue, leaving them not able to control their power. And Changli also notices that her terminal isn't working due to the disruption, so she can't even contact Jinhsi. Not just Jinhsi, but all of the inhabitants of Mount Firmament are in danger. Then we go to Hongjin, which is the heart of Mount Firmament, because Jinhsi most likely went past there in her search for Jue. And we explain that we saw this place in our dream to Changli, and she says that our dream aligns with the info in the Grand Library.
Over a century ago, a vast horde of tacit discords invaded Huanglong. Hongjin suffered greatly during that onslaught. Thankfully, the Sentinel descended, manipulating time to erect a protective barrier, keeping those monsters at bay. It could be a glimpse into your own past, and a guiding light for the future.
Then we notice some Fraxidus patrolling the area trying to intercept our path, but we see some remnants of resonance energy from Jinhsi. It seems as if she used her abilities in a dire situation related to the people of Hongjin. So we follow the trail of resonance energy, and we make it to this chamber with Jin Yi.
Hold on. Relax, there are honored guests. No need to be tense. In a single day, we've greeted both the Magistrate of Jinzhou and her trusted counselor in Hongjin. I can only assume something significant happened. It's been a while, Changli.
I heard you stepped down from your position and moved to the countryside.
For years, I lived secluded, no longer concerning myself with the matters beyond Hongjin. But the current situation in Jinzhou is volatile. It has reunited us in an unpredictable moment. My name is Xin Yi. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
We follow her, and she mentions that Jinhsi was here 15 minutes ago and should now be in Truth Seeker's Pass, which is the ruins of a Court of Savante facility. Then Jin Yi explains her convo with Jinhsi before she left. They evacuated the citizens to this area for shelter, and despite Jinhsi being the Sentinel's resonator, she hasn't been able to sense Jue, and she can feel her abilities getting weaker, which means the Sentinel is getting weak. So she needs to find Sentinel Jue to stabilize the time flow. And Jin Yi says,
the Sentinel was last seen flying towards Mianlung Chamber, where it would normally rest. The Fraxidus likely swarmed it soon after. But little did they know, we had a defense system in place, built with the help of the Court of Savante. It was reactivated as soon as our Sentinel made it back inside. This mechanism has allowed us to locate their troops, and we've already eliminated some of them outside the Mianlung Chamber. To get inside Mianlung Chamber, we have to find the cipher key in Truth Seeker's Pass and unseal it with the Keyforge.
Then Jinhsi left to find the cipher key, but Changli wonders how the Fraxidus even kidnapped the Sentinel, and thinks maybe the Court of Savante's research may have something to do with it, which is very likely considering in Act 5 we did learn that certain Court of Savante factions do work with the Fraxidus. So Jin Yi plans to look into their research, and Rover and Changli head over to Truth Seeker's Pass to find Jinhsi. In search of Jinhsi, we learn from Changli that Jinhsi was chosen as a baby for her resonance ability and raised in City Hall to become the Sentinel's appointed resonator, and all of the government workers helped raise her, including Jin Yi, so that's how they know each other. And she was only a teenage girl when she became the magistrate, so she has an unimaginable weight to carry. Like, she's literally Right now, she's Flu Game, Jordan, Prime, Braun combined. We make it to Truth Seeker's Pass and see another Chronos Order. And Changli wonders again how they were even able to make these advanced mechanisms using the Sentinel's power, because mortals aren't even supposed to be able to comprehend their power. So she never heard of any human civilization able to manipulate time like this, unless the Sentinel willingly taught them. But why would they even do that? Maybe we'll find clues in Truth Seeker's Pass. So we enter Truth Seeker's Pass and we see some echoes that seem to be made by the Court of Savante to protect this place. And after defeating them, we notice another gate with a flare crest. So we need to find flare stones to open it. And we also notice some blood and scales, and Changli thinks that Jinhsi may be close to overclocking. And as we look for the flare stones, we find some research from the court members. And this one is about the abnormal spectrum of Sentinel Jue and recording just recording a bunch of data on Sentinel Jue. They have recorded frequency loss from Jue on many occasions, but they notice when the Sentinel entered the Meilong chamber, it slows down the frequency loss. And then later on, with the help of a particular visitor, they were able to communicate with Jue directly. They had a very meaningful conversation but didn't get too much info. But the convo did prove their research of the frequency loss was right. Jue themselves said that one's temporal programs was lost. And during Sentinel Jue's prime, it was able to manipulate time by slowing it down, stopping time, rewinding time, and making corrections as needed, but now it can only slow down time and stop it. And the condition of Jue seemed to be one of sickness, with irreversible disruptions to time rendering any attempts at correction or restoration ineffective. And consequently, Mount Firmament has been transformed into an isolated entity amidst the vast ocean of time. So that's why there's a time difference between the mountain and the outside world, despite the original purpose being one of redemption. And in the research they did, if Jue were to cease to exist, uncontrollable flow of time would spread to the border range of regions and the whole of Jinhsi, which is why the particular visitor, which I'm pretty sure is just Rover, decided to work with the Court of Savante, so they could find a way in the easiest sense to heal Jue and restore their frequency loss with the aid of a resonance object. So they started the development of an artificial resonance object, which is known as the Chronos Order, and they have the visitor, which is the Rover, to thank for their development. So I think the Chronos Order was made to try to reverse the Sentinel to a point where they didn't have the frequency loss, which is basically just healing it, but the Sentinel was too powerful for it to work and resonate with the resonance objects like the Chronos Order, which boy oh boy do I have a theory, but that's for a separate video. Moving on, we find more research explaining that they tried up to 931 attempts of making the Chronos Order, but it was never strong enough to work on Sentinel Jue. Instead of a Chronos Order, they would need a powerful resonator for this task to help the Sentinel. Every Chronos Order would simply just break until attempt 931 worked for 1.29 seconds. And the researcher noticed that it worked because Sentinel Jue transmitted some form of unknown energy to the Chronos Order. If they use a resonator instead of a Chronos Order, it would work better, but they would most likely overclock. And if you don't know what overclocking is, in the simplest sense, it is losing control over your abilities and basically going insane. And the researcher is kind of indicating that you have to overclock in order to get your second awakening. While you're overclocking, that is when you can access it, but it has to be at the right time or you will lose control and go insane. The Chronos Order can rewind time while resonating with Sentinel Jue, but it's not enough. If a resonator had a second awakening while resonating with Jue, they would be able to handle it and restore the flow of time, which goes back to the fated fight between Jinhsi and Jue. Now, explaining just in case you're lost, the Chronos Orders can only handle a little bit of Jue's power, but not enough to help it restore through time manipulation, and they overclock when they take too much energy. So we need a resonator to have a second awakening to take on enough of Jue's power to be able to use it and manipulate time and restore Jue's frequency. And while all of this is happening, Jue should be under the control of the visitor, which is Rover, and they have to give a specific order to the Sentinel. And then we talked to Changli about it, and it seems that Jinhsi is going to have to be the resonator to help Jue. And we, the Rover, will have to order Sentinel Jue to transfer its energy to Jinhsi at the exact right time for this to work and help Jue. And then we continue and run into Jinhsi. And Changli explains to her why we're here and that they need the Rover to help due to our connection with the Mount Firmament. And Jinhsi thanks us for our help and says she will do everything in her power to rescue Sentinel Jue. And then we can finally talk to Sentinel Jue in person and ask all of the questions we have. And then we asked Jinhsi what she found out in Truth Seeker's Pass. She found out that Sentinel Jue was already injured upon its arrival to Mount Firmament from the court's research.
As time passed and its condition worsened, the flow of time became unstable here.
causing temporal disruptions that could potentially threaten Jinzhou. Only the Sentinel's appointed resonator can restore its temporal mandate. Their records indicate a solution. To reverse the rapid aging effect from temporal disruptions, I must deliberately collide with the Sentinel's resonance power during combat, triggering my second resonance awakening. That will enhance my power beyond its limits. I share a resonance connection with Jue, but I never took the time to truly get to know it. I've been blind to its suffering for so long. Sentinel Jue has been guiding us since the city's founding with its wise words and well-crafted decisions. The temporal disruptions we face are just a side effect of its efforts to protect local people. Without the Sentinel blocking out tacit discords through its time manipulation power, Jinzhou would be a barren wasteland today.
And to protect everyone, she will fulfill Jue's prophecy even if she could die trying. And Changli is worried about Jinhsi, but she knows she won't be able to stop her. So that is why she brought the rover. She explains that the rover is actually the hero and mysterious visitor in the tales of Mount Firmament and Jinzhou. All of the evidence they've gathered seems to point to that truth. And if anyone can help in this situation, it would be the rover. But we still don't know how the Fractidus is keeping the Sentinel trapped, so we need to figure that out. Then we find the cipher key, and Changli says from this point forward, she will leave the rest to us. She is here to guide us, not to intervene, and plus the Fractidus are trying to get in our way, so she will hold them off.
How rude. This is not how we greet people here. Allow me to demonstrate the proper etiquette.
And Rover is worried about Changli, but Jinhsi reassures that Changli is fine. They are only artificers. And then we return to Huangjin and give the cipher key to Jin Yi. And then she opens the main long chamber. But before we go inside, she has something important to tell us about the Fractidus. Changli was right. They used the court's research to trap Jue in its resting chamber. The plan was to place a bunch of Chronos orders in its resting chamber while they were still operational and lure the Sentinel there. And then when the Sentinel goes to rest, Jue would end up clashing with the Chronos orders, which would cause it harm. She speculates that the Fractidus modified a bunch of Chronos orders to push their limits, working together to deliver a massive blow to the Sentinel. And after that, they set up a modified flare crest on the chamber to form a special force field, which prevented the Sentinel from replenishing energy and restricted its movement and perception. So we have to free the Sentinel from the force field. And we explain everything that we discussed in Truth Seeker's Past to Jin Yi, and she says,
"It's always a challenge to decipher the Sentinel's intentions. But there were many theories about it in City Hall at the time. I couldn't fathom why it went through such great lengths to retrieve you from Mount Firmament and raise you within our walls. But now that I reflect on it, perhaps the Sentinel saw in you the potential to one day restore the temporal program and ensure the survival of Jinzhou's inhabitants."
Jinhsi explains that it was on this mountain that she first encountered the Sentinel. She was just a baby and didn't remember, but as soon as she came to this mountain, all of the memories just started flooding into her mind. She was born with her life and everything connected to the Sentinel, but her duty as Resonator is not the only reason that she made this decision to fulfill the prophecy.
I'm following the heart of my younger self before I became Jinhsi. The girl who used to laugh with pure joy as she felt the snow from Mount Firmament on her face. I am a seed, born on Mount Firmament, carried by the wind to every corner of Jinzhou. But now, I've returned to my place of origin. It's time for me to take root and grow into something greater.
And then we leave and head over to the main long chamber to inspect the barrier.
I can feel the Sentinel's presence inside, but it's not responding.
And then we search for some flare stones to break the seal, and we find some files about Jinhsi's past.
Once, tacit discords terrorized the land.
The region of Jinzhou was under siege. A mother and her newborn child were hiding in ruins, trying to avoid the deadly creatures. They weren't safe for long. As the tacit discord found them, the mother sacrificed herself to protect her child. But with her gone, it was difficult for the newborn to survive. In a couple of minutes, its loud cries gradually died out. Fortunately, the newborn's cries echoed through the forest, with a unique resonance that reached the ears of the mighty Sentinel. With a burst of energy, our Sentinel dispelled the surrounding evils. But sadly, it was too late. That night, Mount Firmament shook with the roars of a lung, and dark clouds gathered. The Sentinel returned with a dead infant in its embrace. As if by magic, somber clouds parted, and shooting stars lit up the sky. With Mount Firmament's unique flow of time, the Sentinel brought the deceased infant back to life. The resurrected infant became known as the
Sentinel's appointed resonator, and went on to become the magistrate of Jinzhou. To me, Jue is more than just our Sentinel or a revered divine being. It raised me and saved me from certain death. If the Sentinel predicted our fight, why would it even bother saving me in the first place? Now I understand why. Because I am the Sentinel's resonator. I may not have any extraordinary abilities, but I do possess the temporal program that it accidentally lost. It had been waiting for an opportunity, a right moment to tell me the truth. That's why it didn't explain. I must find the Sentinel as soon as possible. We draw from the same source of power. Saving it means saving myself. I will fight. To protect the Sentinel and to defend Jinzhou. One life may be lost, but many will be saved. If it means keeping everyone safe, then I have no regrets giving my own life. But let me make one thing clear. I am not planning on dying yet. I am here to fight for a chance at survival, no matter how slim that chance may be.
And then we break the seal.
Jinhsi, it has been quite some time. And greetings, Lady Arbiter. Or should one address you as Rover now? One cannot discern the cause of your arrival. Yet its significance heralds Jinzhou's fateful juncture. Shall a child who has lost their memories take up arms and fight for their fate? Or shall they retreat to their cradle and slumber? The seed of the future shall be sown in this very moment.
We question what Jue means when they called us the Arbiter, but Jue says they'll explain it later. For now, we are to just observe. Then Jue questions Jinhsi. Aside from coming here to find Jue, surely there's other inquiries she wishes to make. And Jinhsi says that she only seeks the truth, and given the current situation, she doesn't want the Sentinel to keep the truth from her any longer. And Jue says that they understand, but this is not the perfect time because Jue is on the verge of perishing. Sentinels are designed to endure for all of time, but Jue suffered severe harm in aging time and now relies on the chamber to survive and replenish energy, hoping to delay its death. But the Fraxidus conspired against Jue, which made the injury worse, and the chamber can no longer prolong its life. And if Jue dies, the city of Jinzhou will be no more. Jue has been defying the laws of nature to sustain Jinzhou at the cost of its own life force. If Jue dies, the temporal disruption would reach Jinzhou and all of its life would be engulfed in a storm of twisted time flow, just like the mountain is right now, frozen in time with the past and future as one, rendering life indistinguishable from death, intertwining joy and sorrow into an eternal blur until time ceases to exist. This is all Jue's fault, and it must put it to an end. And in some days, Jue plans to exert all of its strength to freeze the time in Jinzhou at the cost of its life, in hopes that the people of Huanglong would find a way to save Jinzhou. It isn't the optimal solution, but it's better than the other. But Jinhsi does not want that to happen, because what if no one ever comes up with a solution? No one would be willing to spend so many resources saving a small city in the corner of the world. She says that Jinzhou deserves better than an uncertain future. But in Sentinel Jue's deduction, this is the method that proves to be most effective and stable. And Jue questions what is Jinhsi's alternative, and Jinhsi brings up the prediction that Jue made of the battle between them. She didn't know the meaning at first, but after discovering the court of Savante's research, she knows what she must do.
By clashing two resonating powers, a second resonance awakening can be induced. Through this, I am able to push my resonance ability beyond its limits and invoke the temporal mandate to restore the flow of time. Though I will be forced to raise my blade against you.
Ridiculous! If you clash with my resonance power, even the smallest mistake will result in overclocking and leave you nothing but an empty husk. Moreover, you will be trapped within the fissures of time itself. Your being will be relentlessly shredded and mended day after day, denied any respite for eternity.
But I can restore the errors in the flow of time. Isn't that why you saved me all those years ago? I'm just doing what you've been doing all along. Going against fate to keep Jinzhou safe.
Jue says that the rover is only here to witness until the right time arrives. We must command Jue to transfer their temporal mandate access to Jinhsi at the right moment. At the moment of her resonance abilities depletion, when she is about to overclock and is near death, then we may save her life.
I should have died a long time ago. But I was lucky enough to be saved by you, allowing me the chance to see the glittering lights of Jinzhou for myself. You rewinded time to save me. I am responsible. Jinzhou is my home. If it's ever in danger, I will do everything in my power to protect what I hold dear, even at the cost of my own life.
Such a valiant speech. Do you know the weight of this decision?
I understand your concerns. I will reach my second awakening with our destined confrontation and restore the time flow. Are you willing to bet on me?
Restore the time flow. Pray, from where does this confidence arise? You are my resonator, but your strength is only a fraction of mine. There is little chance for you to retreat unscathed.
But I can at least win some hope for our people. Even if it costs me my soul, my everything, I cannot die without trying. I may only bear your power for a fleeting moment. It's all I need to secure a better future for Jinzhou, defying all of your predictions, and I can keep you safe. If there is anyone who can face you in a fight, that person has to be your resonator. I will be your final winning move in this game.
Are you truly ready to challenge a being worshipped by your kind? Will you not regret it when you meet your bitter demise?
I will not regret it, no matter what.
Very well, Magistrate of Jinzhou. Come to the summit. Demonstrate your prowess. Show me how you shall be my triumphant ace. Lady Arbiter, one is curious about your choice this time. Wherever the tides may take us, you will bear witness to our fight.
Government must be guided by virtue. Chi, do you keep this in mind?
Yes, virtue must come first. Politics, commerce, it all must serve the people.
From now on, you shall be known as Jinhsi, bearing Jinzhou's name as your own. What do you think of this world?
Like here. Darkness clings, but lights flicker in the gloom.
A guiding light's not easily lit.
That's why they stand out so brightly against the darkness.
Then Jue explains that their fight will take place in Jue's Sonorosphere, and the rover is the key to entering the Sonorosphere. The ideal outcome is for Jinhsi to absorb Jue's power at the critical moment and restore the time flow without any loss of life or overclocking. And if all fails, Jue will use their power to freeze all of Jinzhou. And Jinhsi is ready to take on this battle, not only as the magistrate, but as a citizen of Jinzhou, to ensure the people may live to see another day. And we enter the Sonorosphere and the fight begins.
Lord Arbiter. May this one transferred the temporal mandate to Jinhsi. This one has heard your decision. What do you think of this?
They deserve a brighter future.
The transfer has been carried out as you instructed. Jinhsi, one shall honor one's promise and restore Jinzhou's future to you and its people. Jinhsi has recovered. One will soon send her back to Jinzhou for recuperation. Please do not worry, with all matters resolved, as per the agreement. It is time for one to address you.
We then ask Jue 4 questions. First, about our past. Jue says that they are the sentinel and guide of Jinzhou civilization. Everything about Jinzhou has been stored in its mind, and the rover is the sentinel Jue's arbiter and former master. In the past, Jue stood by our side as we established Jinzhou City, and the rover is the one that tasked Jue to ensuring Jinzhou's prosperity. And we question how we even lost our memories, but Jue doesn't even know. All of the knowledge Jue knows came from the rover. Shit, bro. I always knew I was him, bro. Like, Jue, you ain't even had to tell me, bro. Like, Pride went already told me, bro. I'm a top meta pick. Like, what you mean? I already knew this. So basically, I own the world. I created the world. Wait, okay, don't take me serious. That part wasn't serious. Okay, moving on. Then we asked about the choice and access. In the past, we granted Jue the key to this Sonorosphere by our hand. The rover said that they plan to participate in history, making choices and witnessing the development of civilization. Jue had to ask for our permission to transfer the temporal mandate to Jinhsi because that is how Jue is designed to function. Every ounce of Jue's existence, from life to death, and even the passing on of power, is subject to our approval. I'm telling you, gang, like this is insane. Wait, bro, are we a god? Like, does this apply to every sentinel? Like, what the fuck are we? Is the rover the strongest in the verse? Like, bro. Always knew I was him. Anyways, moving on. About Jinhsi's condition. Since Jinhsi had inherited Jue's power, the temporal programs are now complete, and Jinzhou is no longer under threat. And Jinhsi has now fully assumed the mantle of leadership. And from this day on, Jue will only offer aid if needed. Jue never told Jinhsi because they analyzed the situation before, and a number of variables made reaching a safe conclusion impossible. And to accomplish her goal, Jinhsi needed the confidence and strength. Revealing the truth too early would only add to her troubles and not aid in improving her abilities. Due to the Fractidus escalating the situation, the destined battle was forced to take place today. And then we asked about the current situation of Huangjin and Mount Firmament. The time flow of Mount Firmament has returned to its normal pace, but if the citizens leave, they will still have shortened lifespans. With Jinhsi's resonance sense ability, they can stay safe as long as they remain on the mountain. This is the best that they can do. Then Jue points out that our tacit mark seems unusual, and then we summon Abby, which low-key, he a little fried, bro. We had a whole cinematic movie happening, and bro was just sleeping the entire time. But to be fair, Rover wasn't the one fighting Jue, so Abby didn't have a reason to come out. But when we did summon him, shit, Abby came out on straight business. He started pressing Jue, trying to make sure he wasn't bullying us. See, bro, I fuck with Abby, bro, because like he ain't really just like talking shit. He really could back that shit up. If Jue tried Abby, like Abby really could obliterate this nigga. But Abby noticed that Jue has no bad intention, and Jue is the unnatural smell it smelt before when we were in Jinzhou. And we let Abby know that this was the sentinel we were looking for. And then Abby questions why we didn't wake them up earlier, because it seems like they missed out on all of the fun. It's not your fault, Abby. Kuro knows that people have the fucking Paimon syndrome, so if you stay out for too long, people are gonna hate you. Jue points out that Abby is similar to Jue, but somehow different. We asked Jue if they know anything about Abby, but they don't. But Jue assumes that since they are in our body, we granted them access intentionally. And then we question if Jue knows anyone that can give us more answers. And Jue recommends we ask the Black Shores, because it was the starting point of our journey in this world, so we should visit the Black Shores Island.
Worry not, the Wuthering Waves ebb and flow. They shall send you back to where you belong.
Oh my, this is truly our Wuthering Waves. This is just truly the Wuthering Wave.
Mount Firmament glowed with the sun's light, high above the clouds and snow. Then, suddenly, they vanished, revealing a distant blue sky. And amidst it all stood a white-haired maiden, like a goddess descended from the heavens. With a mere wave of her hand, she brought forth a new season, transforming the streets below. This maiden was none other than the dead infant, now reborn as the magistrate of Jinzhou. When thunder roars in spring's embrace, the sun shall shine upon this place. For only through death and strife can one truly embrace new life.
And at the end of the quest, we see Frolova.
I see. Doesn't matter. That's not important for our goal. We have the answers we wanted already. With the second resonance awakening, we will tap into powers that rival the Sentinels. Complete control of the artificial resonator awakening process is within reach. And lastly, about that rover. This trip was worth it. We've collected many wonderful notes, haven't we? It's about time. Get moving. Can't let a certain someone wait too long behind bars.
Oh my god, this shit was peak, bro. This was everything I fucking this met all my expectations, except the fucking, like, the beginning part was a little slow. Like, I don't, bro, bro, it's like, please fix the English translations and stuff. It's way better, but please fix fucking Yang Yang, bro. When Yang Yang talks, I want to fucking kill, probably shouldn't say that, but she talks too fucking slow. Like, her voice fits her so well, but she talks so fucking slow. Like, please, bro, that first fucking 30 minutes of the story was like, bro, it could have been like 20 if they just made Yang Yang talk faster. But like, bro, it started off slow, but bro, this quest is a fucking banger. This had everything. I said this, if you look back on my past videos, I said that this should be the one that draws people in. This should be the best quest out of all of the quests, because I saw the build up to this shit. I saw it, and it played out so fucking perfectly. Well, not perfectly, because I just complained about a part, but like, so let's not glaze too much, bro. This shit is amazing, bro. Like, at the very least, this is a 7. But in my opinion, this is a 9. The only problems I really had was sometimes it felt a little too yappy, and Yang Yang. That's really it. I enjoyed the fuck out of this quest. You know, I'm gonna make a whole separate video talking about everything though, and the theories I got, and then, bro, my theory of they're going to be breaking Scar out. I knew that they were going to be breaking Scar out. I thought we were going to see a cutscene, but us seeing Frolova at the end of this quest and saying, "Oh, we can't let a certain someone stay in behind bars for too long." free my nigga Scar. Now, what Kuro needs to do is just give us a cinematic masterpiece of a fucking cinematic. Drop that bitch on YouTube of just the Fraxidus fucking pulling up and taking breaking out that nigga Scar. That's all they need to do in this fucking, bro. Kuro, y'all did a good job. Y'all got me yapping right now. I shouldn't even be yapping on this video. But that's it for me. I'm sorry if I missed anything. I don't think I did, but sorry if I did. That's the end of this video. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on the story. I really do think that this is the best that the story has to offer so far, and it played out fucking like phenomenal. Literally peak cinema fucking movie. But that's it for me, man. Let me edit this shit. Bro, so many as soon as I gotta record, like, so much life shit just pops out of nowhere, like random side quests I gotta do. So like, I'm a little delayed. This video should have been out yesterday, but it's out today. Better late than never. With that being said, man, peace, bro. I'll see y'all in the next one.